Hello, welcome to GeekyHiJynx, home of the Mischief Makers, and today, we're looking at Lucky. Welcome everyone to another to the point review where I keep things short, sweet, and to the point, or at least I'm trying to. My last review was almost 20 minutes long, almost my longest review I've ever made, besides the crazy ones I do. And I'm trying to keep these like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like in, out, shake it all about, job done. Doesn't seem to be working because this just keeps on going, it won't stop, but I can't control it. So I'm doing my best to try and keep these shorter, but we'll see how this one goes, and there's a lot to talk about this film, so let's get going. Now the first thing to know is this film terrified me before I even put it on because it's a Shudder original, and if anyone's seen my reviews for any Shudder films that have come out this year, you know it's not been good to me. Black Magic was a... Black Magic? Isn't that chocolate? The Queen of Black Magic was a okay premise. I've seen it loads of times. Bit of a disappointment film, like I've forgotten you already. What else was there? Hunted. My god, if you've never taken drugs and you want to feel the sensation of taking drugs without taking drugs, as I did, watch this movie because it is so crazy. I can't explain to you. The scenes, I was laughing my head off throughout the entire film, especially the middle part. Then we move on to Shook. Oh, shook. I'm almost shaken, puns, that film out of my life. Terrible film, one of the worst films I've seen in a long time. Not just a horror, films. Avoid at all costs. So when I thought to myself, oh, who made this? Shudder. Oh, no. But I've got to give them all a go. That's the whole point of this channel, to review the films that I can save you guys from. So the general premise of this film is it's about a lady called May, and she's an author. She's got a really good first-selling bestseller book, and it's called I think it's called Go It Alone. Go It Alone, and it's like a female empowerment book about going it alone as a woman, and it sold really well. But her second book didn't, and her publishers are on her back. They want to support her by bringing out a good third book. So she's got a lot of pressure on her life. She goes home, goes to sleep with her husband, gets woken up by a noise outside, and it's a killer. Breaks into their house, they kill him, but then each night the same killer returns, they kill him, and he still returns. It's got like a groundhog element to it as well. Now, when I first saw the synopsis for this movie, I didn't see the trailers, I never do, but when I read the synopsis, I was like, Hush much? Mike Flanagan's Hush. It's on Netflix, check it out if you haven't seen it. Amazing horror film, really, really good. But it's similar to that. She's an author. She's actually deaf in that movie. She's isolated. Home intruder. So I thought I was going to get Shudder's version of that. But then something happened, which I never knew was going to happen. It's like a Groundhog Day moment. But before that gets introduced, if you don't know that's what's going to happen, this film is very crazily funny. There's a few scenes in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes that are so surreal. I actually was just like smiling the whole time thinking, I have no idea what's going on, but let's find out. So what do I like about this film? Quite a bit actually. So I'm going to start with the first thing I liked, and if you're wondering, hey, the lighting may have changed, that's because the light was like facing my face like this, and I was like, welcome to GeekyHiJynx, I'm blind, so I couldn't see a thing what I was doing. So let's go into what I liked about the movie. The first thing I liked was, the best thing about the film for me was the plot, and it's not anything special, but it's told in a very unique way. So you got this storyline we've heard tons of times. Lady at home alone, stalked by an intruder who terrorizes her throughout the night. The difference to this one is every night, and she kills him every night. Now, Happy Death Day meets Hush. That sounds cool, but this film uses those elements, those horror tropes, to tell a different story. It just uses those horror elements, and that's what I liked, and that's where the talking points come from. Because I can guarantee you now, there are going to be some people that are dissecting this film as we speak. There's going to be like tons of Lucky Explained videos out really soon. I'm not going to do them because I'll probably be about 10 days. The rest of the things I liked, the acting. Brie Grant, who also wrote this movie, she did a really good job. You were with her the entire film. Yeah, the other side characters, they do good as well. But Brie Grant was clearly the standout for me. And I even said to myself after the film, like, she's not a bad actress. She's pretty good. And I looked her up and I was like, I knew I recognised her from somewhere. And she's also in a film called The Stylist, which I'm going to review tomorrow. And the cinematography in this film is excellent. And I'm realising I'm getting the hang of this whole cinematography thing in these reviews. Never really thought about it too much, but the more films you watch, you can actually say, yeah, this looks really good, it's shot really well. And then you watch other films, and I watched tons of films and paid no attention to cinematography. I just, like Lord of the Rings, for example, beautiful, but in some other films, you watch, like Taken, for example, with Liam Neeson, is a great film. But when you watch it years later, my God, it's shaky cam C. But this film looks great, the use of colour, the angles they use, the shots tell the story themselves, like there's cracked plates and cracked windows, and I'll get to those parts in a bit, but like the way that they use certain elements to tell the story and the message trying to get across, but again, makes you think about the film way after it's finished. Good stuff. So what didn't I like about this film? There's a couple of things I mentioned. Now the first thing is, this film does drag a little bit and gets quite repetitive in the middle, even though you need the middle bit to give you a bit more so you can piece things together, but at the same time it's very repetitive and it kind of loses you. The first part of the film, the first 20 minutes, you're already hooked in. Like it starts off as you suspect. Author going home to her husband. They get in bed. Now I've got to mention one thing about her husband, Ted. In the first 10 minutes, he's goddamn hilarious. He's not meant to be funny, but his scenes in the first 10 minutes are so surreal that made me laugh because I had no idea what was going on. I was just like me. Literally, you are made the entire film, piecing things together until it gets to the last third act, and then you're kind of like, I'm trying to figure out this film now, May. You go ahead, I'll catch you up later. But Ted is damn hilarious. If Ted was in Titanic, if you take Rose out and put Ted into Titanic, Jack would have lived, because in the beginning they're in bed together and Ted is so far to the edge of the bed that if he was in the sea or in the ocean with Jack could have gone, because Ted would have been so close to the edge of that door frame wherever they're on the wood that Jack could have gone, so Jack would have lived. He wanted to be with me in a horror situation, just like so relaxed and too laid back with what's going on around him, and it made me chuckle. But with those moments and the mystery, like what the hell's going on? Why is everyone acting really weird with May? Like everyone's almost acting a bit too like a caricature of the character they're playing. You're with her, then gets to the middle, and it got a massive dip, and you're just like, you're losing me, movie. You're losing me. I want to know what's going on. I want to know how the movie ends. That's why I'm sticking with you, but you're kind of not gripping me a bit. And then it gets to the end, and you're like, now the ending is funny. This is where it can go like divisive, because for me, when it got to the third act, there's a scene in a car park. I was just like, oh no, movie, don't betray me, movie. Don't be that kind of movie, please. I was with you from the start. Like Shudder, I thought we were friends now. Why are you doing this to me? And there are some people that are literally gonna stick with that sort of thought. Me, on the other hand, I was thinking it was that kind of movie, like Black Christmas, and if that's a bit of a clue as to how this movie comes across, because it does feel like female agenda-ish, like feminism at one point. But once you get past that part, and then you get to the end, you see the movie as a whole, you can start thinking about it in a different way, and that's when you need to pull back and literally give it an hour, think about the movie for an hour. I'm not even joking. Stop the movie, think about it for an hour, try and work out what you've just watched, come to your own conclusion, and think about everything you've seen before. Watch the movie again if you have to. I went for a few scenes again just to try and piece it together. I'm going to give you my thought process in a bit. But some people are going to hate this film. And the other bits I didn't like were, yeah, like some of the performances are a bit hokey. And that's really it. You know, just, and it's like a one-time watch, you know. Like, this isn't something that it hasn't got that like oomph feeling to it. You maybe watch it a couple of times, like I said, to literally figure out what the hell is going on. But once you figured it out, kind of like St. Maud, you know, St. Maud, there was the whole what's the ending. Once you figured out the ending or come to a conclusion about it, you won't come back to this film anymore. You just leave it as it is, and that's the only thing I didn't like. It's just, yeah, a bit bit bland as a movie once you've kind of gone past it. Now I'm going to touch on light spoilers now. I say light spoilers. I'm going to talk about look at me getting my I'm destroying my equipment. I'm gonna go on light spoilers now and just talk about bits in the film and how I interpreted it. Alright, so this is gonna be filled with spoilers, and I hopefully won't last about 20 hours, but I'll do my best, guys. So essentially, the whole film's mad. I think the whole film is a metaphor for May's own personal demons. Now, there's a film I watched recently called The Vigil, exactly the same, but told in a much simpler way. Man's inner demons is facing an outer demon and has to overcome both. And that was much better than this, in my opinion. Told much better, more simpler. You can grasp that concept easy. This goes a different way. It uses the horror movie element to tell the story. So the killer returns every day, same guy over and over and over and over again, and she kills him every night. But what's interesting is she has the same weapon as him every single night. So if she brings out a hammer, he breaks in, he has a hammer. Golf club, steak knife. You get the point. They're mirroring each other. So for me, I took that as the killer is just May. It's a representation of her. That he breaks in every night to kill her because she's not confronting the real issues in her life. Or it could be, like I said, there's so many ways I could say it, but that's where I took it. Then later on in the film, she has more conversations with the police and everyone else, and they, again, it gets very cartoonish. Some of them even start singing. I'm just like, what is going on here? But again, that's when you got the film starts to unravel more, and you're starting to think, wait, so this isn't a movie I'm watching right now. This is a metaphor movie. I'm watching a metaphor in the form of a movie using horror elements. So don't watch it as a film, because it's not a film. It's just a massive metaphor for whatever message they're trying to get across. Which could be, we hate men. Because if you go into this film and you generally think it's like a feminist, man, a bad movie, I really can't blame you. Because there are scenes in here, like I mentioned, where it makes you think that it's just men dragging women down. Men constantly pulling women down, making their lives hard. And if you think that way, I can't say you're wrong, because that's what the film could be saying. The way I looked at it was that each person in her life, from a publisher who's just draining her, who's just making her feel like, why am I doing this job? And her husband, like, she had an affair, but is she with him out of guilt because she had an affair? Does she even love him? Like, even in the beginning scene, I said to myself, they've got no chemistry. Then it explains itself why. And because she had an affair with somebody else. So she's like, is she with him because of that? Maybe she's in denial. And then everyone she speaks to just doesn't treat her seriously. And then she meets up with her assistant in the car park. And then in the car park, every woman is getting attacked by a similar person that's attacking May. And again, I was like, no, don't be a man-hating movie, please. And I was thinking, oh no. And then she's looking at people, and her assistant's like, shouldn't we save them? And she's like, no, we've got to take care of ourselves. Like her book, Go It Alone. Or Do It Alone, I forget now. And then her assistant gets killed by her killer. And then May runs away, gets in the back of her car, drives home, killer's there, kills her husband, stabs the killer in the neck, killer's dead. She takes his mask off, and his face is like morphing into what looks like every man you've seen in the film. And I think that's kind of the message to take away. I don't think it's an overall man-hating film. I do think there's elements of maybe men not taking women seriously in regards to maybe certain allegations, especially in Hollywood or BBC these days. So there could be like the whole Me Too thing, where women are coming forward, not being spoken to seriously, and it's being ignored. That's where I took it, and I could be completely wrong. Comment to the comments, let me know what you thought. But that's, like I said, at one point I was like, this is a man-hating film. Then I thought to myself, you know what, it looks like she's just It's just trying to mirror her life, this killer. And then until she confronts the killer, takes him out completely and understands the situation, which I believe she does at the end, the killer will never stop pursuing her. So rating this movie was a little difficult because even though I really respected and thought the concept was very original, and I thought what they were trying to do with a horror movie trope, like storyline, but tell a different story with it, I thought was cool. I liked what they're trying to do. It's just that this film, I don't think it will last longer than a month. I think you'll get a load of analysis videos, but once they're done, no one's gonna really care about this movie anymore. It's just good to talk about now, and then you breeze past it. It's kind of like Saint Maud. You talk about Saint Maud, work out your interpretation, and then you're like, yeah, it was good. Next film, and then you watch better films. So for me, with everything like combined with the acting, cinematography, the action, the talking points you can with the movie, the fact it's quite short, but then a bit bland in parts. You can take it the wrong way if you're looking at it a certain way. And even though it's got an original concept, it still was a bit, So with everything combined, I'm going to give it a shiny bronze, but it's also a one-time spin, because it's an okay movie, but I'm not going to watch it again. So guys, that was my review of Lucky, a film that was okay, good talking points, but yeah, I'm not going to visit again. But what did you think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it a snooze fest or the greatest film you've ever seen? Comment in the comments and let me know, because I generally am interested. And if you like this video, drop me those likes, because it always helps me out. But until next time, stay out of trouble.